Hello, St. Louis. The Blues unfortunately do fall to the Jets, but you know what? It is okay because you cannot win them all. And the Blues did have a very impressive two games they won this past weekend. But hey, I'll talk more about it coming up here on Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, where I talk to you all things about our St. Louis Blues. Last night, unfortunately, it didn't go as planned for the Blues, but I will dive into that. You're listening again to the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Now, I do have to tell you this. I was hoping for another Blues win. I was hoping for a winning streak. But why do I seem a little bit more upbeat? Well, that's because the Blues cannot win it all. The Blues do fall to the Jets, and I'm going to talk about what is the main reasons the Blues continue to struggle. And of course, the Blues and Coyotes have a rematch tomorrow night, so that will be a game worth watching. I promise you that. Before I dive any deeper, I do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL to get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Last night, the St. Louis Blues fell to the Jets 5-2. And what exactly went wrong against this Winnipeg team? Well, I did tell you very early on that Kyle Connor was going to be a huge problem going against the Blues, as he is probably the most dominant player on the Jets. Now, unfortunately for the Blues, the first period was a little icky with Mark Schauffele, who is well known around the league for an incident that he was involved in the playoffs. I believe it was the playoffs years ago. It was a dirty hit, but that was assisted by Kyle Connor. And then the Jets were able to make that a 2-0 lead early on. Well, not early on in the first, but halfway through the first, early on in the game, I should say. But then our boy, Robert Thomas, he was able to get a goal late in the first, cutting Winnipeg's lead in half. And the Blues trailed by one. So it was a 2-1 lead from the Winnipeg Jets. But I do want to mention that Tyler Tucker and Kasperi Kapanen, they both had assists on that goal by RT. And this is Thomas's fifth goal of the season. Second period, it was the Kyle Connor show as he was able to get a power play goal. And this is something that I will touch on with the Blues kind of struggle with. It is the power play. So I do have to say that is an element to the game that they really need to work on. Heading into the third period with Winnipeg being up 3-1, Kyle Connor gets his second goal of the game and his eighth of the season, giving Winnipeg a 4-1 lead. At this point in the game, I said, wow, can the Kyle Connor show just come to an end? But Captain Brandon Shen, it's fun, and I'll get into that in a second. He was able to give the Blues another chance of life, again, cutting Winnipeg's lead down to 2 goals. I know it doesn't sound that good, but Winnipeg saw the lead 4-2. And then on an empty netter, Winnipeg was able to give themselves a 5-2 victory over the Blues. Okay, what went wrong? What's going on? Well, I can tell you this, that Winnipeg for sure had more puck dominance on the ice. They definitely utilized the power play. 2 goals scored on the power play. The first goal that they put up, which was the Mark Schauffele goal, and then the second period Kyle Connor goal was both on a power play. Now, I didn't think that Binnington had the best game. And everybody knows that I am the biggest Jay Biggs fan out there. I love him, but I can also at the same time say that he did not have a good game last night. And I think that was very detrimental to this team. I think the game, in all honesty here, I think the game just really showed me that there wasn't a huge purpose to the Blues' loss, okay? And the second period was so dry and bland. And even Coach Craig Berube even said, the second period, we needed more. And that's the problem. They outshot the Blues in every way possible, the Jets. They had more puck dominance. And I don't want to say it's like they deserve to win. I hate saying that kind of thing about different teams, but the Blues definitely didn't play like they should have won. Coach Berube also said there's opportunities that we could have capitalized on and we didn't, but still, I'm going to go back to the second period. That was not good enough. So I agree on everything that he said about the second period. And then a guy that I like a lot, because again, the second period, there wasn't any shots. I believe it was for the first 10 minutes, but Pavel Buchnevich, he did say, I think we started off the game pretty well. A couple of bad penalty kill goals, and the second one was a bad bounce off of our stick. We've got to play better in the second period. In the second period, we let the game slip away from us. We've got to play smarter, just play down low and how we played the 2 games before. So at least the players, at least Berube, they're acknowledging the fact that, hey, the second period, it was not good hockey. But at the same time, it is not the end of the world in a sense of there are 82 games in the season. You cannot win them all. The Blues were classified as a team that was going to be struggling a bit this season, okay? And I think having too high expectations will disappoint you 100%. But it's the accountability that I like. And it's one of those things that I think that, the frustration shows. Nicoletti was frustrated. I think that there was just a lot of frustration after the game. And even Nicoletti said that he was like, I thought we had a good start. I thought we played really good, but we didn't play like that for the full 60 minutes. Now, everybody goes back to that Blues second period. Not good. Also, on Brandon Schen's goal, I do want to say that Torrey Krug did get his first point of the season with an assist. Whoa, Torrey Krug actually exists? That is something new to me, something that I did not know. But I guess we learn something new every single day here on Locked On Blues. It is unbelievable to me, though, how the St. Louis Blues team really does play at your heartstrings. They're a team that's confusing. They're a team that doesn't make full sense, but they are a team that I know I'm invested. I know that you're invested in. And that's why I think we have this frustration as a fan. It's because we just want the best for the team. And if the team isn't performing properly, it's going to affect us and it's going to affect how we feel. And we're going to be frustrated. But I think the players, for the first time this season, in their post-game interviews, I actually saw them show some more emotion with their frustration rather than just, oh, we got to play better. They acknowledge where it went wrong. And, it's like funny, but it's not funny in a way. But they always say the first step to anything in life, to change something, to change a pattern, to change a mindset, is to admitting where it went wrong. So at least our players were able to admit where it went wrong. Okay, so that was something that I was proud of them on that. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED lights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has have you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you will always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only to U.S. customers. Coming up, I am going to tell you what the main problem is and why the Blues continue to struggle. So the main reason I think the Blues are continuing to struggle against these teams is that they might just be tired. They exerted a lot of energy in the 2 games over the weekends against Montreal and the Devils. And I do want to say this, is that I do believe that the Blues, they are improving in ways. But at the same time, you have to understand that these guys have to put in so much more effort in order to be able to maintain and keep up with the teams that they're playing, because they are not that great of a team, okay? So I don't like this. Okay, and here's my little rant, I guess. I don't necessarily like the fact that the Blues are being ridiculed for these kind of losses, yes, it was brutal. It's never fun watching a Kyle Connor show. But at the same time, the reason I think I feel more optimistic is that if you defeat the Arizona Coyotes tomorrow night, then you would be taking away 3 out of 4 games from your homestands, which is amazing. I think anytime that the St. Louis Blues are able to find success on the ice, they should 100% utilize it. They're not a bad team. They're not a good team. They're a below average team. And they definitely do have the opportunities to really excel. But I think the thing that is frustrating and why they continue to struggle, again, it goes with their penalty kill. I think that's been a huge factor. Teams have really been taking advantage of their PK. It's one of the worst in the NHL. I think it's actually ranked the worst in the NHL. And whenever a team is on a power play, they're really able to take full advantage of that extra man on the ice, and they're not being stopped, which is evidently hurting the Blues. So I think that the penalty kill they need to work on. The Blues also need to work on their power play. The Blues need to work again on the defense, but I'm seeing improvements. I'm seeing the defense making those improvements. It's not something that was going to ever happen overnight, and nor should it. This team, it's in a really weird stage, but this is when you need to ask a guy like Doug Armstrong, what's going to happen with the guys on the Thunderbirds? Would you consider bringing any of them up? I understand that it's really hard right now, especially to move certain guys down, put them on waivers and they could be claimed. I mean, which wouldn't be, no, you can't because they have a no, see, you can't do that. I am brainstorming here for you, Dougie Armstrong, and I am not finding any success whatsoever. But at the end of the day, the St. Louis Blues really need to just continue to work hard, play hard. But yes, the penalty kill, I think, in these past couple games is what's hurt them the most. And I don't care if you win. I don't care if you lose. If you were playing poorly during the penalty kill, it's going to haunt you no matter what. So this is something that St. Louis, 1,010,000,000% needs to work on. And as a Blues fan, it's frustrating because you just want to see them succeed. You want to see them play well. But time and time again, I am seeing the same mistakes made on that PK. And it's just frustrating. That's all it is. It's not even that I'm annoyed. It's not even that I'm disappointed. I am frustrated because I think with the right coaching or the right maybe couple pieces of players, it could be a good penalty kill. But right now, they really just leave that ice empty and open, and it allows the other teams to really capitalize off of that, which is just beyond detrimental. So that is something that I would really encourage the Blues to work on. And the power play, you got to take advantage of that. You have an extra man advantage. And if you're going to be bad on your penalty kill, at least be good under the PK. There's too many times where the shots go high and wide. And I know it might sound like every single hockey person right now, but getting the puck deep in the zone is important because the Blues don't seem to do that. They need to do that. Get the puck deep, play it out, and see where it goes. Come on now. But here's the other thing. I tend to always say that a team is only as good as its weakest link. And right now, I don't necessarily also think that there was a weak link. I think that together collectively, this team has been struggling quite a bit. But after this weekend, I have to tell you, I think things are finally clicking, and I really hope so because I like Craig Berube a lot, and I don't want to see the Chief go. I want him to be with the Blues for more seasons to come. So I know a couple weeks ago I was saying here in Locked On Blues that I could see Craig Berube being fired, and it's blunt, it's hard, and it sucks. But that was the direction that this team was heading in. Now, after how I see them play, I'm like, okay, wait, maybe this team is coachable. Maybe this team can take direction. But for multiple players on the team to basically all insinuate the same thing that they were upset about also is a good sign that this team is maybe talking about what's going wrong and how they can potentially move forward. I'm just brainstorming here on my Locked On Blues podcast, but that's what I'm kind of hoping for this St. Louis Blues team is accountability and being able to move forward. And I think that if they do that, then the team will finally click. A new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. Robert Thomas could score 50 goals. The Blues could hoist the Stanley Cup. And you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. And listen, I understand that this season may not be the best season for your St. Louis Blues, but it does not mean to give up on the Blues. It means that the Blues are a team where you can bet on them when it comes to save percentages with Jordan Binghamton, assists with Robert Thomas, and so much more. So definitely check out the Sleeper app. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you will get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use and details and locational availability. So, in this final segment, I do want to let you know, and by segment, I mean this next chunk of time that I will be talking, I want to clarify, is the Blues and the Coyotes rematch. As we know, the Coyotes defeated the Blues 6-2, and I underestimated the Yotes. And I apologize to all my friends out in Arizona. I definitely am hoping maybe on Friday's episode, I will be able to do a little bit of a collab with some of them on Locked On Coyotes. But I was wrong. I underestimated this team from Arizona. And I think now, after seeing how the Coyotes are playing, they are 6-5-1. Okay, just to let you know how the Blues are 5-5-1. So they're very similar teams in terms of their record, but in terms of skill, I still think that Coyotes might be a better team. I know I never thought those words would come out of my mouth, and I cannot believe I'm saying that out loud. But at the moment, I'm seeing the Coyotes play really tough, really physical, and they're looking kind of fast on ice. And props to them. They were a team in the NHL that was struggling for a really long time, for a long, long time, and they were able to kind of, looks like, shift things around a bit. Now, while they're not an outstanding team, okay, we're not going to get too ahead of ourselves, they are making a good effort. So what do the Blues need to do in order to defeat the Coyotes? Well, that is stopping hometown kid himself, Clayton Keller. This is something I've mentioned before. Clayton Keller happens to be one of those players that is just so dominant against the Blues, okay? And it's one of those things too where you need to understand that Clayton Keller has had 5 goals this season. Robert Thomas has had 5 goals this season. And this is something that I said even in my last, pre-show for the Coyotes and Blues, was that Clayton Keller is somebody that needs to be stopped kind of early on. And if he's not, he's just going to 100% dominate St. Louis yet again. I would like to say that maybe the Blues have some more momentum now after facing the Coyotes once and they see how this team plays. I think definitely the Blues have an incentive because you want to leave this home stance with 3 out of 4. Okay, you lost one, it happens. I wasn't expecting the Blues to sweep in their home stance, but at the same time, I do expect them to perform to a level where it is more intense at home just because of that home crowd advantage. And I feel like they always play better when they're at home. This season so far, the Blues at home are 4-2, and the Coyotes, just to let you know, are 3-1 away. So both teams, similar stats in a sense of how they have been. They're very consistent with each other. And that was another team too, was the Winnipeg Jets were consistent against each other with the Blues as well. So it's hard when you have all these consistent matchups. I feel like the Blues play better when they play difficult teams, but maybe that's because they put more pressure on themselves. I don't know exactly, but they played great against the Devils. And I don't care if certain players weren't in or if a backup goalie was in, they still have a lot of talent on that New Jersey team. And they played phenomenal against the Canadians. So I guess my biggest thing is what Blues team are we going to see tomorrow? Are we going to see the team that is so dominant, or are we going to see a team that plays a little lackadaisical? I say lackadaisical lightly because it is still playing in the NHL, but I think you know where I'm coming from in the sense of this team really seems to be a team that is a little bit just inconsistent sometimes. But I am not counting on them to lose. I actually think that they're going to win tomorrow against our friends out in Arizona. Well, they're playing here in St. Louis, but our friends are in Arizona. So I am hoping for a Blues victory. I'm going to say it's going to be a 4-2 win. I think that there's going to be a lot of scoring. I'm hoping to see Brandon Shen score a little bit more. And for those that always correct me and say, Haley, you always say Braden Shen. I know it's literally, you know what it is? I have watched this man in the league for such a long time. And I'm so used to calling him Shenny or Shen or Bishen. I have so many nicknames for these guys. And for whatever reason, his name always is a name that messes me up. Like you would think that a name like Buchnevich would mess me up. It doesn't. It's a guy named Brandon that messes me up because I'm so used to having to just, hockey life. But today's episode was fun. Again, fansel.com/locked on. By the way, I just wanted to let you know about that. That was from this little chunk of time in the episode. You can follow me on Twitter at Haley T. Simon, or you can follow Locked On Blues to get all of your latest St. Louis Blues updates and how we end every single episode. Oh, you already know the drill. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Let's go Blues.